Hello there, how are you doing? Now in this video we're going to cover the visibility types. Okay, so the private, protected and public. Alright, so let me make one more class here. So let me make it, let's call it customer. So bookstore would have books and customers, right? So let's create customer.php. Okay, so I have added some comments here just to make sure that you get it 100%. Okay, so we have three types of visibility. So private is the most strict one, top level, and then there is a protected, and then there is public. All right, so let's go through all of them. So the private visibility means that the properties and methods of the class cannot be accessed by outside. Okay, so just like the name suggests, it's private to that class itself. Okay, it's not, this code is not accessible to the outside. Okay, so that's private, pretty straightforward. Now protected, what is protected? The protected visibility means that the properties and methods of the class can be accessed only by its children class. Okay, so we're going to see that in action in the future lessons. Okay, so what happens is one class can be extended by another class. So in that situation it is called parent and child class. Okay, so even it's called class and subclass as well. So parent and child makes it a bit more understandable, I think. So protected means you have one class, for example you have a customer, and then maybe we will have later down the road two types of customer. One will be a basic customer, another will be a premium type of customer. So both of them will inherit a certain properties and methods of the customer. For example, customer name, address and so on, things like that. Maybe those properties methods would be usable in both basic and premium classes, right? So in that situation what would happen is those basic or premium class would extend the parent class. Okay, so when something like that happens, in that situation, even if you declared the properties and methods as protected, they will be accessible to the children classes, the one that extends. So you will see this in action. Okay, so it's pretty shouldn't be too complicated to understand. Okay? It's a private for the class itself, it's not going out anywhere. Protected is not totally like public. Now let's go to the public. Actually, public visibility means that the properties and methods to the class can be accessed by outside. So okay, so that's public just by the name it suggests. Public, it is accessible. Private, it is completely to the class. However, protected is kind of sits in the middle. It is not public, it is not fully private, it is protected. Means any other class, if they extend to the parent class, then those class will have access. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Now lots of theory, so let me comment this, take this away, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's create a customer class. Begin by the class keyword customer. Within these curly braces we define the properties and methods. Okay, so this time we're going to have, before we had all these public properties, now this time we're going to try private. Okay, because customer details such as ID and name, probably it makes more sense to make it private than public, right? So private ID, okay, private, what else they will have, first name, okay, private surname, and then let's have email as well. Okay, so we have these four properties, private. Now let's have one function as well. Public, let's make it public. public function, this is going to be a constructor so that we can instantiate easily, right? Construct, and it will take the ID, it will take the first name, it will take the surname and the email. Okay, and then just like we did earlier, this set ID equals to ID. Again, now let's do the same for first name. First name, let's make it first name, surname, whatever comes from the argument we set. Okay, email, awesome. So now we have another class, it has private properties. Now let's give it a try. Why don't we try it now? Instead of trying it inside the class, which we shouldn't do anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this out. Okay, this is how we instantiate. Copy this one, and let's leave the class as it nice and clean. Save, customer, nice and clean, save. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new file, init.php. Okay, and we're going to do all the instantiation from there. Okay, so it's always a good idea to keep the classes clean. Okay, so let's make it init.php, and let me save this one. Awesome. So this is our directory. Okay, pretty clean. Okay, so init.php, let me paste that bit I copied from there. Make sure you type php. Alright. Okay, so how does it work? Because we need to require those files here, right? This init doesn't know. It cannot instantiate like so. If you go to init php, class book not found and all that stuff. So let's do that. Let's bring, so what we can do is we can require. Okay, so let's require classes. So require once, okay, and then we give the directory, okay, and then we concatenate. So it's from the same directory, and we concatenate and give the class name. So directory / book.php. All right, so it's in the same directory and it's a book.php. Now we can do the same for customer. Awesome. Okay, so we require these two classes. Now we have instantiated a book. Now why don't we instantiate a customer as well? Okay, so let's name it first customer equals to new customer. Okay, now we can pass in the arguments. Okay, so the customer takes the ID, let's set it to 1. Customer takes the first name, Ryan, okay, and then the surname, give it surname, and then email, right? Okay, make sure it is a string. Okay, great. So we have the first customer, we have instantiated the book, we have instantiated the customer. Now because the customer's properties are set to private, books are not. So let's give it a try. Why don't we do, let's use var dump back. Okay, var dump Harry Potter, var dump first customer. In fact, let me comment this out, it's going to be a mess. Okay, let's save this one, Harry Potter. We can see undefined variable surname. On customer line 12. it's the spelling. Okay, let's save this one. Let's try it. Yeah, okay, we get the book object, there's the title, all that stuff. Great. Now let's have a look at the customer. Save this one. Okay, so we got the customer object, the integer 1, first name Ryan, surname Dingel, and email, all that stuff. Okay, it's working fine. But what if we try to access, let's say, our first name? We know the first name is set to private, so let's see if we can access it. Refresh. Uncut error, cannot access private property, customer first name. You see, that is how it works. Okay, so let me comment this out, go back to this one, Pardon Harry Potter, and Harry Potter, what does it have? With this book, let's try to get its title, because it's set to public, which should be fine. Okay, so let's give it a try. Harry Potter and the Magician. So you see the difference? When you set it to public, it can be easily accessible by the code outside, but if it is set to private, you cannot do that. Okay, so that is a very, very basic example of understanding private and public. Okay, so this is all for public and private, and protected we're going to cover in the coming lessons. When the time comes, when the time is appropriate, that time I will introduce you to the protected type as well. Okay, so I'll see you in the very next video. Thank you.